Hello. In this video, we are going to see how to test loading of data from the DB and from MySQL specifically. We will use K6 for load testing, Tomcat as a server for our application, and MySQL for database that we will use for the test. Our expectations are 400 requests per second on the server and 400 requests per second on the database. We will use 500 threads on the server and on the database. Let's take a closer look on that. Okay, we have a test here. And we have a controller, JDBC DB controller with Spring Framework. We have order method and order slow method. aka endpoint. Fast one, it will just ask database for data there, and slow database, it will improvise or simulate some delays in the request. It means that it has 1 second delay, as we see here. And we see two implementations, find by ID with just a regular request and find by ID slow with 1 second delay. And in addition, we have to take a look on application settings. Here we have data source for the database. We have a Hikari pool. Here we can change amount of threads that database will read. And by default, there are just 20, but we can expand it to 10,000, for example. Here, just for an example, we will use just 500 threads. And for the server, we will use 400 threads. We can change this amount of threads in case by case, but for that one, it's enough for illustration the ability of the system as a whole. And in addition to that, we can take a look on the database that we have here. We can execute this request and see that the database have 500 requests, and this one setting can change the amount of threads that we can have simultaneously on the MySQL database. And now we can just try to test it. Here I have several tests, and this one is for 400 RPS test. Here we have some settings. For example, ramping arrival rate. It means that we will send data simultaneously. Here we have some stages, and we have the URL for the endpoint and some summary report template. And now we can just run it and see the results that we will have. This one is the previous test. Here we can see some data, but I want to run it just in an action to see that everything works well as expected, and we can rely on this system and on these settings. Everything is going okay. We can take a look closer on something else. Some additional data is for additional tests, like here that we have We have Docker settings, some reports, etc. But the main part is JDBC controller and JDBC order repository, the test that we have, and our settings. All additional dependencies are in the POM file that Maven use for fetching dependency from remote servers. And take a look closer on the test. We see that we have some warnings, but still everything is going to be okay. What do we have here? We have some predefined settings here. We have average RPS metric, 341 requests per second, and some additional data is here. Yeah, we see that latency is less than the value that we expected, but looks like there is no such requirement here. So anyway, we see that everything works fine, and we can take a look on that metrics. And for um, additional parameters, if we need to make it bigger, we can scale it horizontally, or we can scale it just on that system, just by adding more threads on the database as well as on the server. It's easy and pretty much understandable by someone who is interested in software engineering and system development. So thank you for your attention and your time, and have a great day.